If you're not aware, the front end bra or car bra is a usually vinyl cover that goes on the front of a car. Drivers generally fit them to stop rock chips, bugs or other detritus from the road damaging the paintwork on their treasured possession. They seem to be more popular in North America and were quite a thing in the 1980s and 90s, but today they're getting rarer and rarer. Why is that? Learn more in the fully supportive, sometimes padded, but definitely not strapless car bra story. The first car bra appeared in California when a group of German engineers driving what else Porsche 356s wanted to protect these cars that were on unofficial loan to them. They walked into Colgan Custom Manufacturing and presented owner Bill Cogan with a protective cover that Porsche used when road testing their cars. Could he make something like this? Bill refined the design, nicknamed it a bra, and soon had 150 sales. When the Porsche 911 came along, car bras for those also became popular, but it would take until the mid-70s until owners of other car brands started taking interest. In fact, a version for the Datsun 240Z in the early 1970s flopped. But in the 1980s, the idea of a protective car bra caught on, at least in North America. The full bra would be joined by the cut-down version known as the sports bra. The makers have branched out to mirror bras, trying to cover everything that might be in the path of bugs or stones thrown up from the road. But today, there seem to be fewer cars wearing bras. In a poll, around 90% of you said that you now see less car bras than you did in the 1980s. So where did they go? Well, before doing any research, I thought of various things it might be. If you want to play along, pause the video right now and have a think. What do you think it could be? My first thought was having the car bra on all the time in sunny weather could lead to a tan line of sorts. The paint under the bra might discolor at a different rate to the rest of the car. Car bra customers are the sorts of people who keep their car pristine, so any blemishes would be a big turn-off. The second idea was it was just a fad. People got into them, but they didn't like how they made their car look. I personally don't like the look of them, but reading up on it, some people really do like the look of them. It is possible to hide them somewhat by getting a bra that's a close match to the car's colour, but it's hard to get an exact match and the vinyl's colour may fade over time. Best to stick with black then, especially if you have a black car. Maybe the paintwork quality improved, or there are more layers of paint, so there are fewer big rock chip marks. Okay, I don't put much credence to this one, but expanding on this thought, I've driven cars for years on short and long trips. I've had to replace my windscreen from rocks that have hit it on multiple occasions, but I've never seen a big problem with rocks hitting my paintwork. That's not to say it's not a problem in other parts of the world, but maybe it's an overblown problem, and after the car bra fad faded, people realised that they didn't need one. Touch-up kits for the exact colour of your car are relatively inexpensive and leave any marks almost invisible. These weren't as easy to get in the 1980s before the dawn of online shopping. Then there's the growing size of bumpers since the 70s and 80s, to the extent that they cover almost the whole front of the car. Maybe a plastic bumper has more protection against rock chips than painted metal. This certainly seems to be the case with sports car bras, which don't cover the bumper at all. Well, those were my ideas and speculation, but here's what I found online and from your comments about why car bras aren't as popular. As to my tan line thought, with modern paint, discoloration apparently isn't much of a concern, but on older cars it could be an issue, especially if the bra is left on in the sun for long periods. One big problem though is that installing car bras is a real hassle. Websites trying to sell them say that they can take 20 minutes or more to install, and a website that wasn't trying to sell them said it could take between 15 minutes and 2 hours, although as you get used to them, apparently that time can go down. You might not think that that would be a big problem, just put it on once and forget about it, right? Well, the originators of the car bra, Colgan, recommend that you remove the bra every time you wash your car. And if you get it wet, like if it rains whilst you're driving, then manufacturers recommend removing it and letting it thoroughly dry out. Not everyone's going to be that diligent, and in fact some may just leave it on. This can cause another big problem, mildew. Some bras are perforated to help with this, but it won't completely prevent moisture buildup. No car bra is completely waterproof. Moisture gets trapped between the bra and the paint, where all kinds of horribleness can happen, which could end in damage to the paint or even rust. That's a much worse prospect than a few bugs or the occasional rock chip. But if you're diligent in care, then a car bra will work perfectly well, but you have to sign up to that care regime. And it's not just moisture that can cause problems. If any dust or debris gets under the bra, the constant movement can cause an abrasion or sandblasting effect on your paintwork, especially on ill-fitting bras. Constant waxing and cleaning is needed to keep it under control. Some manufacturers suggest removing and cleaning the car bra every week, increasing the overhead of using one. But the main reason why we haven't noticed car bras lately may be that they've gone into stealth mode. Paint protective film protects your car without changing how it looks, at least from a distance. Moisture or mildew aren't generally a problem, as nothing can get underneath it. They can also be installed around high traffic areas such as the boot. If you install them over headlights, then they can apparently help prevent the lenses oxidizing. But as anyone who's tried to install a screen protector on their phone will know, they can be a devil to install without getting bubbles underneath, especially on the complex surfaces on cars. It may be better to get professional help, which increase the cost. And some brands can yellow over time, so they may need to be removed and reapplied. Bill Colgan made the first car bra, and the Colgan custom bra can still be purchased for a variety of cars from new owner Covercraft.com. Personally, I wouldn't want one for everyday use. They're too ugly and need too much maintenance. But for the occasional use on long trips or going to a car show, they could really be useful, especially in bug season when you end up with thousands of them plastered all over the front of your car. Just make sure you get a custom fitted car bra, as generic ones could flap around causing sandblasting damage. So there you have it, all you ever needed to know about car bras. Doing a web search for car bras brought up some odd parts of the internet, like a chat titled, "My bras keep disappearing, what do I do?" Well, if it's a car bra, then whoever's taking it is probably doing you a favour. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.